In this video, we will examine how to debug a sample options trading strategy using the OptionStack platform. The strategy we will debug will sell an iron condor whenever the VIX hits a 1-month high, and close that iron condor when it has made at least 30% of the initial credit received. Before we begin, let's review what is an iron condor. An iron condor is constructed by selling one call spread and one put spread on the same underlying instrument, all with the same expiration dates. The cash collected from selling the call and puts represent the max profit for the position. Iron condors are considered a market-neutral trade and makes money when the underlying security remains in a relatively narrow trading range. The strategy displayed attempts to sell iron condors whenever the VIX hits a 1-month high, and closes the iron condor when it has gained at least 30% of our initial credit. However, the strategy, as displayed, has some problems that we will try to fix. First, let's run the backtest to see the results. As you can see, no transactions appear. So let's try fixing the strategy. The first thing we should do is to check whether the market conditions in the when block are triggering properly. An easy way to check whether the market conditions in the when block are correct is to plot the conditions. In our example, the when condition uses the rank method to check whether the VIX is at a 20-day high. Since there are approximately 20 trading days in a month, it is equivalent to approximately a 1-month high. Rank is used to determine whether the current price is high or low compared to the previous X number of periods. For instance, a rank of 100 would mean that the VIX is currently higher than 100% of the prior 20 days, or the highest it has been in the past 20 days. Conversely, a rank of 0 would mean that the VIX is currently higher than 0% of the prior 20 days, which is the same as saying it is the lowest it has been in the past 20 days. Let's plot the conditions in the when block. Let's start by plotting the VIX itself. Copy and paste the VIX block and attach it to the plot block. You can copy and paste by selecting the block in question and pressing Ctrl+C. Or you can right-click on the block and select the duplicate menu item. Now, let's run the backtest. You can see that the VIX prices are plotted in the lower panel. Now, let's plot the rank block itself. Copy and paste the rank block and attach it to the plot block. Assign it to a different plot group so that it will plot in a different section of the chart than the VIX prices. Also, let's plot the threshold condition of 100 so that way we can visually see when the rank hits our threshold of 100. Copy and paste the 100 block and attach it to the plot block. Assign it to the same plot group as the plots for the rank studies. Now, let's run the backtest to view the results. Based on the chart, you can see the rank touches 100 but never crosses above 100. That could explain why our iron condors are not being executed, since our when condition is never satisfied. So let's change our when condition from crosses above 100 to greater than or equal to 100 and rerun the backtest. As you can see from the chart, the VIX hits a 20-day, 1-month high at these dates, where the rank hits our threshold of 100. So at these dates, our iron condors should be sold. However, we're still not seeing the transactions. So let's analyze further. Every time an order is submitted but doesn't match the requirements specified, there will be a log entry showing the order attempt. So let's check the logs to see whether the orders to sell our iron condors were triggered. We can see from the logs that the iron condors orders are indeed being submitted but are not getting filled, probably since no iron condors match our defined requirements. Let's analyze why our iron condors are not getting filled. Start by clicking on the magnifying icon to preview the types of iron condors that would be selected based on our defined criteria. As you can see, no transactions match the requirements specified. So first, let's check the size by parameters. Currently, the strategy is set to size by a max risk of just $10. There is likely no iron condors that has a max risk of $10. So let's change the size by to quantity of 10 instead. Let's click on the magnifying icon again to see if any iron condors match our new requirements. Unfortunately, no iron condors still match our requirements. So let's detach all the filters and then manually evaluate one filter at a time. So let's remove all the filters except the days to expiration filter. Click on the magnifying glass icon to evaluate the strategy with just the days to expiration filter. Unfortunately, no iron condors match the days to expiration filters at the date of our evaluation. To debug further, let's bring up the option chain on the date of the evaluation. As you can see from the options chain, there are no options with 26 to 30 days of expiration on the date of our evaluation. In this case, we can either change the date of evaluation to a different date, or we can change the days to expiration filter to be a larger range. Let's change the days to expiration filter to 25 to 30 days from the original 26 to 30 days. Now we can see iron condors that match our days to expiration filter. Let's repeat the process for the other filters by adding the filters back and checking the resulting output. Let's add back the delta filter. Delta measures the sensitivity of the position to a change in the price of the underlying. This delta filter will specify that the entire iron condor position should have a total delta between -10 and 10. Let's evaluate the current set of requirements by clicking on the magnifying icon. We can see that there are iron condors that match our new requirements of 25 to 30 days to expiration with an overall delta of -10 to 10 deltas. Next, let's add back the filters for the short legs of the iron condor. When the leg option is enabled, the filter criteria is for a specific leg of the iron condor only. Without the leg option enabled, the filter criteria applies to the whole iron condor position. With the leg option enabled, the delta filter only applies to the specific leg being selected. In this example, we will select an option between 10 to 20 deltas for the short legs of the iron condor. Let's verify whether we've selected the short legs properly. In the description, we can see that the short legs of the iron condor can be selected by using the Select Higher Strike Put and Select Lower Strike Call methods. But we have mistakenly selected the long legs of our iron condor. So let's select the short legs of the iron condor by changing the drop-downs to Select Higher Strike Put and Select Lower Strike Calls instead. Now, let's evaluate our strategy again and verify that our filters are working correctly. We can see iron condors that match our requirements of 25 to 30 days to expiration, overall delta of -10 to 10 deltas, with the short legs having 10 to 20 deltas each. Next, let's add back the price filter. The price filter will define the min-max price of the selected iron condor. The price as displayed will select iron condors with at least $3 to $10 credit. click on the magnifying glass icon to see iron condors with at least $3 of initial credit, while still satisfying our other requirements. Now, no iron condors match our new requirements. Since there are no iron condors that match after we added the price filter may be too restrictive. Let's adjust the price filter to make it less restrictive. Let's reduce the amount of min price from $3 to $1 and click on the magnifying icon again. Now we can see iron condors that match our new requirements. It looks like our iron condor strategy is working correctly now. Let's run the full backtest now. We can verify that our strategy is working correctly by examining the transactions. You can double-click on the T on the profit-loss chart or double-click on the rows in the transaction table. You can analyze the portfolio before the transaction and portfolio after the transactions are executed. Now, let's look at our transaction table to see whether our iron condors are getting closed properly. We would like to close our iron condors whenever it has profited at least 30% of our initial credit. However, based on the transactions, we do not see any orders to close our iron condors, even though we can see our iron condors are indeed making a profit. Again, to debug our strategy, let's plot the conditions of our when block. Let's start by first deleting the prior plot blocks first. Now, let's plot the return on max reward by copying and pasting that block and attaching it to the plot block. And let's also plot the threshold of 30%. Now, let's run the backtest. As you can see, our threshold of 30 is never hit, even though our iron condors appear to be making a profit of 30%. If we analyze the return on max reward method more closely, we can see that the return on max reward method returns a percentage. 30% should be defined as 0.30 rather than 30. Let's change our plot block to 0.30 instead of 30 to see if the threshold is hit. We can see from the chart that a threshold of 0.30, i.e. 30%, is indeed hit. So let's change our when block rule to 0.30 instead of 30 and run the backtest again. From the transaction table, we can see that our closing orders are finally getting executed. Our iron condor strategy is finally working properly. In summary, we have demonstrated how you can analyze and debug your trading strategies. You can use the following guidelines to debug your strategies. Number 1. Plot the conditions in the when block to verify that they are working correctly. Number 2. Isolate the filters of your strategy block one by one and reevaluate the strategy as filters are added and removed. Number 3. Include comments in the strategy so that you can easily correlate the output transactions to the rules in your strategy. Number 4. View the tooltips associated with each method and check that the scale of the inputs are correct. Number 5. View the option chain table and transaction table to verify your trades. By following these simple guidelines, you can easily analyze and debug your trading systems. Thank you for using the OptionStack platform.